Hello, I hope this video finds you safe and healthy. I wanted to share a message with you as we've just hit the end of the first quarter of 2020. I thought it appropriate to share a video message with you, give you a little quarterly review, have some interesting facts I'd like to share. Looking back at this first quarter, the theme I sort of attached to it is good riddance. I think you would probably agree. Let me share with you some interesting, dubious facts from the first quarter. The World Health Organization reported on Saturday, January 4th, that, quote, a cluster of pneumonia cases of unknown cause had taken place in Wuhan, China. The first death from COVID-19 was reported on January 11th. So take into consideration those dates. Less than 90 days later, we are where we are today. It's pretty amazing how fast things have moved. Speaking about the speed of movement, let's talk about some dubious market statistics. The bull market for the S&P 500 that began on March 10th, 2009, officially ended on March 12th of this year. This bull market lasted 2,756 trading days, which is the equivalent of 131 months, 1 month short of 11 years, actually the longest bull market in our history. The S&P 500 peaked on February 19th of this year at 3386. The bull market returned a total gain of 529%, or an annualized rate of return of 18.3% during that 131-month run. And it set 255 new all-time closing highs along the way. But it was a roller coaster of a quarter, that's for sure. After that all-time closing high of 3386 on February 19th, the S&P 500 fell 33.9% to close at 2237 on March 23rd. So just 30 days later, basically, you had that precipitous drop. On 3 consecutive trading days, March 12th, 13th, and 16th, so it was a Thursday, Friday, and a Monday, you had the following numbers. On March 12th, a 9.5% loss, just in that one day. On March 13th, a 9.3% gain. And then on Monday the 16th, a 12% loss. You talk about a roller coaster, that's a roller coaster. First-time jobless claims for the week ending February 1st were 201,000. That was the lowest level of jobless claims since November of 1969. That's over 50 years. Just 7 weeks later, the jobless claims for the week ending on March 21st, 3.3 billion. 3.3 billion, an all-time U.S. record. By far, the old record was 695,000 back in 1982. Unbelievable. On Monday, March 23rd, the New York Stock Exchange began conducting all of its trading electronically, eliminating floor trading for the first time since its founding in 1792. Pretty unprecedented stuff going on. That information is courtesy of MFS funds. Let's look ahead. And the theme that I'm going to share with you looking ahead is Hope Springs Eternal. Let's start with some thoughts about where we're going to go here in the second quarter. Given the massive efforts to contain the spread of the Chinese coronavirus, we anticipate a sharp contraction in the U.S. economy, which has likely entered into a recession. Real GDP is likely to contract in the second quarter by as much as 15 to 20% on an annualized basis. This would mark the deepest quarterly decline since the 1950s. So that's not positive, but I'm going to spin it positive now. Over the past 20 years, April has been the strongest month of the year for the markets. And for 10 of the last 12 times that March has been in the red, April has been in the green. So we have a good shot at having a positive month of April coming out of a very dismal March. Some other good news. We expect that this could turn out to be one of the shortest recessions in our history. We believe the need to significantly restrain activities, such as the closure of non-essential businesses, will dissipate by the middle part of the quarter. And under this scenario, along with the aggressive fiscal and monetary policy, we foresee a rebound in growth in the third quarter that will mark the end of this sharp but short recession. So that's good news. That information is courtesy of Vanguard from their global strategist. Let me just share a couple of things in closing. It's tough to stay positive when you're sequestered at home. If you watch the media coverage of the virus and all the things that are going on, it can be quite daunting. This next section I call the daily media storm. The 24-hour news cycle provides an almost immediate record of what's happening throughout the world. Everyone loves a good story. We got one right now. The more sensational, the better. This constant onslaught makes it nearly impossible to gain the appropriate perspective on what we read, see, and hear. The typical result is anxiety and fear. Anxious people are more apt to devote their attention to information that is negative. When faced with the choice between data that could potentially inspire optimism and data that paints a dismal future, the anxious person will choose the latter. Data that isn't crystal clear is more likely to be perceived as bad or threatening, thus fueling pessimism. The solution: stop listening, stop watching, stop reading. If you're feel like you need to do that, you want to do that, really dial it down. And I would make sure you go to multiple sources to get your information, because unless there's a consensus, you can't really trust that the information you're getting is 100% accurate. That information, by the way, was courtesy of Hartford Funds. I'll end here with a couple of quotes that I thought were appropriate for the time we're in right now. Here's one. How many times does the end of the world as we know it need to arrive before we realize it's not the end of the world as we know it? That quote is from Michael Lewis, who's the author of The Big Short. And if you don't know what The Big Short is, just do a quick Google search. Parting with some words of wisdom. This is another quote I picked up, and I have it hanging on my wall. I think it's great. Focus on what you have control over. Family, health, things like that. Focus on the positives. When your focus is positive and you find the good in a situation, you're then able to think creatively and improve your life. If you need anything from me, I'm here to help. I'm always available. Shoot me a note, give me a call, and stay positive and stay healthy.